How y'all feeling? Wait, hold on, let me say this. Whether it's a performance, a panel, a conversation, I truly believe that the energy that y'all give us on stage is the energy that reverberates right back to y'all. I know y'all are dialed in and y'all are focused, but I want to know if y'all can make some noise for me right now if y'all happy to be here. Whoa! That's close, that's about an 8. I want to get us to a 10. Make some noise if y'all ready for this phenomenal conversation, please. Yeah! There we go. I'm so excited to be here again. My name is Dometi, and we're with the Atlanta-based label and management firm responsible for creative campaigns for artists like Summer Walker, Black, Davido, Spinall. I could go on and on and on, Baby Tate. And I'm just so excited to have this panel with us. We got Tunde Balagoon, we got Carla Ramon, we got Sean Famoso, Amber Grimes, and we got my brother, Junior Abedo. Make some noise for everybody on this panel with LVRN. Now we do these like a living room conversation, right? So y'all jump in. If somebody says something that you feel, say true. True. You know what I'm saying? You can make some noise if you like what you hear. That's how I like to have our conversations. And we're gonna start it off just like this. First of all, thank you so much for joining us right now. We have this conversation about how artists can empower themselves on this journey of independence. And I've heard each of you in separate conversations talk about how this is the era of the independent artist. That this is a great time to be independent. We'll start with you, Sean. Why is now a great time to be an independent artist? And why do you think that people have been saying that this is the best time to be somebody who's trying their own path?
I mean, at the end of the day, not having anybody to blame but yourself is a beautiful thing. I think in the past when everybody's been signing to these major labels and hoping to have these big machines behind them that have this secret red button that everybody thinks exists, that they hit the red button and your career goes to the next level. And us all understanding that that does not actually exist, but being able to create your own campaigns, put money behind yourself, put time and effort into your own self. And I think, being able to embody all of those different things is more accessible nowadays than it have ever been before. With technology, with access to information, with companies like United Masters, it all just makes sense. So I think being independent is not only important, it's imperative.
Anybody else want to deal with that?
I'll chime in on that too. We talk about it all the time. The barriers to entry are so low now that different hierarchies and things that were super important in the industry even 3 years ago, like DSP playlists and stuff like that, are just having less and less of a real impact on an artist's future. So it's a perfect time where the barrier of entry is so low, and the things that you need traditionally from a major label and from a machine, as Sean puts it, are so few and so little nowadays that it's like, it just makes a lot more sense for a lot of artists, depending on their situation, to do it themselves, because so much of what you have to get done is at your fingertips.
Amber, you talked about this quite a lot, about how artists like Baby Tate have been self-starters. And even though they have a machine like LVRN behind them, some of the artists that you guys manage, she's a good example of someone who takes ownership and control of her own career. And talk about why that's important in this era, and what does it look like, given everything that Junior just said, for an artist to utilize the tools that they have at their disposal, but also not be overly reliant on the infrastructure that you guys provide.
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes back to that saying that, hard work beats talent, and that can be unfortunate sometimes. But I think Junior said it best. You have all these platforms and all these different ways to promote yourself at your fingertips. You have no one to blame but yourself if people aren't hearing your music or seeing you, or you're not even just making yourself more discoverable. So as an artist, if you really want it, I believe an artist really wants it when they use every outlet that they possibly can to put their music or themselves or whatever it is that they're working on, even if you're not an artist, whatever it is that you're promoting out for the world to find. I hear a lot of people all the time say, I want to be an artist, and I'll go to their Instagram, they have no music up yet, there's no link in the bio or whatever, and I'm saying, okay, you only want to do what you're doing, you're not being it. So if you are an artist, your music should be out. So Tate, takes it a step further, even with her music, the way that she promotes it. There's a lot of backlash that I think artists get, or that people give about TikTok this, and oh, you're a TikTok artist, you make TikTok songs, you look like a content creator. That's how she moves her music, because that's where the world looks for music. So she shows up in that place and presents herself very well, and she's not embarrassed, ashamed, afraid to promote her song. And I say that about anything that you're promoting. If you want somebody to buy something, Coca-Cola is not afraid to put a billboard on the highway. You know, there's no other product that's selling to you where they're ashamed to make a commercial. And as an artist, you have to promote your song and post it 100 times. Post it 100 times until somebody sees it, and then you can be up from there. But you never know on that 99th time if that's when it's going to go viral or the right person is going to see you or say, yo, that person's really talented. And so she just, I really respect that she has no shame in her game about making sure that she's discoverable and visible where her audience is looking for things.
Can you guys give another example of a situation where one artist that you were supporting went so hard that it made you say, oh shit, we need to make sure that we're on our toes to keep up with this train that they roll?
I mean, yeah, I think most recently I would say Davido. You know, we recently came on to manage him about a year and a half rolling. You know, he had an unfortunate tragedy around this time of last year, and just him being so resilient to come forward, you know, put himself forward, record an amazing album and like lean in. You know, the least we can do is support his journey, and you know, we're seeing the results. You know, this has been his best performing album, his best cycle. You know, we're just blessed to be a part of this part of his journey.
Junior, I saw you nodding profusely when I asked that question too. Did you want to tackle that as well?
Oh man, without saying names, you know, sometimes you'll just have a meeting with the artist that you're potentially going to work with and just realize like, oh shit, somebody's thinking about what's next. And I think we all had that experience recently, and I won't say their names so that nobody here goes to work with them, but yeah, I mean, it's common, you know, I think, but that's what the industry is always about. It's about people who are looking for ways to disrupt, looking for ways to do things that are not being done currently. And so those are the things that inspire us and get us to think deeper and think about what's next.
What are some of you guys' favorite album rollout campaigns and concepts that you're most proud of executing? And how would you suggest that they take some tidbits on what worked well that they can implement in their own strategy? Some of the artists and artist managers here.
I mean, I think we've done a number of amazing rollouts, right? All to be proud of, and I think that, you know, as of recently, I could maybe just talk about the last Summer Walker album that we did, Still Over It, from 2021, and I think that for us it was a huge moment because we had pulled off such an amazing rollout on the first album. So I think to come back and try to tackle it again was a test to ourselves. And I think that just even at that time, she had become such an amazing, huge, world-renowned artist herself. It was like, we have to push ourselves and how we can support this and come up with creative ideas. So when it came to like, you know, the hard drive that we manifested as a concept of, it's like, all right, cool, we know someone's not an artist that wants to be, put her face in there first to be the most promotional heavy tool in her marketing plan. So we came up with this, this side item, this hard drive that contained all our music that became the manifestation of Summer Walker for that whole promotional process. And we were able to do creative things with it, like, you know, have a glass box that you had to break the box to listen to the album. We took the box touring all around the country, and on a couple of other activations. But I think that for us, that was a very proud moment in the sense of coming back for a sophomore album with a lot of expectations from the first album, but being able to attack it in all the different ways that we do, whether it's like, you know, we always like to do something emotionally driven for core fans, why we're now driven, and like, you know, I think TikTok was a big thing on how that particular marketing activation got spread, and she, I think at that point was the first time she started using TikTok, so it became a driving force into that aspect of her artistry. And so yeah, I think we just hit it on the nail with just a lot of different aspects of her career.
I was just going to add to that. I think just as a tip to clearly the amount of independent artists that I'm assuming is in the room, but any amazing idea is free. Like the core of any really good idea, activation, marketing plan, it's free. Money only magnifies it, but money magnifying a bad idea doesn't make it a good idea. Money magnifying a great idea can make it an idea that the entire world sees. So I think even in our, you know, Colin's example of Summer Walker and us turning this hard drive into this gold plated with diamonds and a bunch of other shit and flying it across America in order for people to see it. There's a free version of that. There's a free version of that that you and your friends can do, that you and your magic can do, and I don't think that's spoken upon enough. Because there's been times that we've had, you know, great ideas that were free, and then we finally get a little bit of money, we try to make a mediocre idea huge, and it falls on its face. And it's because the money doesn't make the idea. The idea is best when the resources are limited, and you have to like dig deep into your, you know, your creative psyche in order to get that. So I think that's the caveat to anything grandiose that, you know, we've done or anybody else has done.
Can we give a round of applause for that response right there? Because that's encouraging. A lot of us see these big campaigns and we think, oh, well, there's no way I can replicate that. So being in that space, what should artists be thinking about as far as like the creative direction around their album rollouts, right? Because one thing that you guys do well, you create a world around the artist, their image, everything about that season that they're going into before they drop. And a lot of independent artists, the world they create is just a couple Instagram posts. They might promote their music when they're early in their journey. What can they do to think about more creative ways to create a whole ecosystem around that album release?
I mean, I will say, just like, you know, it is different for everyone, right? I think that, you know, just to talk about Summer, that idea in the whole hard drive manifest is because she's not necessarily the, like I said, the promotional, oh, here I am, this is a person. So it's like, all right, cool, how are we able to promote her music without necessarily using her face? But I think it's different for all of our artists. I think, like, you know, Black, when he first came out, another one of our artists, before he even signed to us, he had a whole black and white aesthetic that was his own. He was like, all right, cool, like, this is my moody vibe, all his pictures he posted in black and white, and that was something we came on to enhance. But that was his creative way of just like, the music I make is very dark and moody, I'm not a colorful person, so my whole aesthetic is to be black and white. Like, that was his version of what spoke to him. And I think it's been the same with all of our artists that I think have gone on to have successful campaigns. It's like, we are here to suggest ideas a lot of times, but I don't want to ever come to you with an idea that doesn't feel like it's natural to you, because then we end up in situations of like, the fans see through it. Like, I think that we're in a space today where, you know, with Instagram and TikTok, like, fans really care about the person that's actually behind the artist and get to know you intimately. And I think that anytime that they see something that doesn't feel like a true you, it doesn't connect, and it doesn't, and I don't think it's successful. So any great ideas that we come up with is been naturally true to whichever that artist kind of does.
I was just gonna say, like, just another version of that is just like, now it's very important for your song or whatever it is that you're promoting to have context, and the context that people used to be able to add to a song was a music video. And, you know, then it's like, oh, I really love this music video, I want to 6 in Park, the song is blowing up, right? Now music videos don't really matter so much anymore, but you have these other tools, these promotional tools, social media, where you can make your song actually mean something, and also other people can make your song mean something as well. And so I think being able to answer that question, like Carlin said, okay, cool, what's Summer's issue? She doesn't want to be forward-facing. Okay, what can we put forward-facing to speak for her? That's a question and an answer. I think it's very important for everybody when you're making music or just thinking about yourself as an artist to actually know who you are, what you're selling, who you're talking to, and why you're talking to them. And then again, I'm just a huge advocate for TikTok and content. Like, don't shy away from the way that other people are adding context to your music. Like Rollo Rodriguez's song where he goes, "Who this for?" I'm pretty sure it wasn't in his mind that was going to become a skit on TikTok, you know, about condoms. And then it did, and then all he has to do then is lean into that. And so then now I remember that line of the song, and I want to listen to the song because I remember that creating, and that gives his song more meaning than just it being on his project. So whether it's coming from you, the artist, you need to pay attention to your own sounds on these platforms, Reels, TikToks. Look at how your fans, even if it's one person, look at how they're engaging with your content and figure out how you can either lean into what they're doing or come up with your own ideas and say, okay, cool, I do makeup really well, and if there's a female artist out here that does makeup, do makeup transitions to your song and see if other people will catch on to those things. But just, it's not enough to just put something out. It needs to mean something to somebody, and you do have the power in your hands to make it mean something or find somebody new.
I hope y'all caught those 3 steps right there. Think about who you are, who you're talking to, and what was the last one, what the context is behind your music.
Sure, I don't remember what I said.
You said, I started to run it back. I'm like, she just said that shit. Y'all caught that, right? I'm like, after this, by the way, we're gonna, Tunde was adamant about this, making sure you guys get to engage and talk to them. So think about your questions. We're gonna do a 15-minute Q&A after this conversation, but I got a few more to dive into. I want to talk about why it's powerful for you guys is, first, black people, but people from the diaspora, the African and Caribbean diaspora, to start this label and how that works with how you market your artists, but also how you support them, right? Like you guys have a mental health division. I've never heard of a firm having a mental health division for its artists. Can you guys talk about why that was important and just your identity and how you respect the humanity of the artists and how that plays into how you support them?
I think we really, to be honest, realized that, it was very public. Summer was going through some personal issues on the road. And to be honest, we were trying to figure it out. Being publicly criticized by the public as far as her team and her saying she wanted to quit. It wasn't that she wanted to quit, she was personally going through something. And with us, with therapy, the person has to want to do it. So luckily at that time, I was introduced to a therapist, and it wasn't on me to force someone to do anything, but we did invite the therapist to come on the road and just be around us and just observe. And she was able to give us a bunch of advice on what we should do to make summer comfortable in these environments, and that's when we had the idea to be like, hey, this could be something that we kind of need to dive into a bit, because one, being on the road as an artist is one of the most stressful things in the world. It's not comfortable, it's not fun. You're away from home every night. People want to see you, but artists are also human beings. So are executives, and also so are employees. So after we went through it with Summer, us as executives, we started to do group therapy sessions. And then we saw how
one of the executives, you guys were
there. Us as partners, and we saw how amazing that was. And also we wanted to show and prove. We wanted to be the example for our artists and our staff, because we can't tell them to do something that we're not doing either. So when we actually announced it, everybody was kind of weary about it, but when people took their own time to actually dive into it, we actually saw that our artists were healthier in the mindset, which equals productivity. So just by caring more about the people around you, it will help your business overall. But it really just came from us not wanting to make the mistakes of people in the past about not caring about the people who ultimately make you cash. And I think that's been a big thing in the industry of saying that like it's not our responsibility, but it actually is. So that's where they're going.
Okay, hear me up there, please. But that's what black execs do. And I think that people from outside of our community look at us as commodities and not as human beings. By the way, it was wildly successful because Still Over It was what? Set the record on Apple Music for the most single-day streams for a female album release. Like, I was thinking, let's do that campaign. Like, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. I want to speak a little bit about Africa. It's an emerging market right now. Everybody's talking about global music. In what ways have you guys been able to capitalize on this energy around that? And why is it important for you guys to know what you know, come from where you come from, to figure out ways to take art like Davido to the next level, the time we're in?
I mean, it's just perfect time for us. To be honest, we're blessed. We started off in R&B, first generation from Nigeria, Ghana, Trinity, Jamaica, and ultimately it just resonated with who we are. So, being blessed with somebody like Davido or Senegal, out in Ghana, Free the Youth, we just did a huge joint venture with a label in South Africa, down into Piano, Afro House, Afro Tech, and ultimately, our goal is not to open up LVRN in Africa, it's to support artists and entrepreneurs on that side and help them export their business to the world. And really just give the opportunity for people to grow and not have to take the time that we have to take to grow art. So.
Why is it important not to try to found an LVRN in Africa rather than support those already there?
Because it doesn't make sense to go there and try and start something when you can go support people who are already there, and you can still accomplish what you want to accomplish, and you can actually get more done supporting people who honestly know the market better than you. They just really need the buying, Nixon, and the support. So that's the strategy to take on that.
Before we go to the audience questions, I'd love to just talk about what independent artists are you guys paying attention to, and what are they doing? What are they doing that's working?
You can't say that.
You want to shout out the ops? You know what I'm saying?
I'll say what I'm looking to right now is Aaliyah's interlude. Like, she just figured it out. Like, she wasn't an artist, but she realized I have a base. I know how to engage with my fans, and I'm gonna try this out. And I think more than ever, people look down on people who come from content creation to become an artist, but that's an artist. You can engage with your fans, you can make content, you make things that people actually love and like, and then you make the music and they're consuming it, because she's hot right now, so yeah.
Let me ask that another way. You guys have a partnership with AudioMac. Tell me about that partnership and how it's working with AudioMac and its artist ranking system, helping out you guys into the streets. What's that partnership all about?
They just have a great tool, and I'm sorry, Justice our head A&R couldn't be here because he's benefiting from it the most in his department. They offered us a great tool to be able to really sort through all of the independent artists that are existing and making music and really building, and just provide us a way to find them. They have a service that makes these artists more discoverable. Like there are more artists right now than ever, more people making music, which I think is a beautiful thing. And I think, gone are those days where it's like, oh, how do I get a deal? Or it's just like a couple people, or it's like Kanye West is running a big Sean on the radio station. Like we don't always run into independent artists where we're at, or just around. And so when you have this machine, this powerful machine, putting it in our face about who's really working, what's happening with them, who's building, how it's growing day over day. Like it's very intricate information that we're getting, so that we can see the best of the best as independent artists that are really working really hard and fighting so they can be a part of what we have going on. But they provide us a great tool. I'm grateful that we're partnering with them on it, because they've had it for a while just to be able to big artists up on their platform, but then to go an extra step and help artists find partners that actually will care about them and help them grow and they can remain independent. I think it's just an awesome opportunity for the artists, and we want to be that partner to them.
I love that. We're about to swing into the audience. I got one more. Sean, if you wouldn't mind tackling this one, what are some things that artists should think about when it comes to building a team? Who should they be grabbing first? Backstage we're talking about taxes. We're talking about the real estate that you found out on the road to success.
Step one, get an accountant. No, I'm joking. You might not have Brad immediately. But obviously the team is important, but I think even more important than putting together a team is knowing when you need what. And I think a lot of times artists will catapult themselves into lanes or into discussions that they may not be ready for. Needing a manager, sure, but do you have anything to manage? Needing a publicist, sure, but do you have anything to publicize? Do you know that Twitter is your publicist? Do you know that YouTube is your TV channel? Do you know that Instagram is your biography or whatever you want to call it? Do you know TikTok is your talking point? So all of these different things, or people that you think you need on your team, there's actually an app for that. Literally, there's an app for that. I think when it gets to a point that something is overwhelming and that you're trying to be better served doing something else, or doubling down into music on the content creation and being able to have people that support it, I think that's when it's time to take advantage of that. But I think as an independent artist, you should know how to do a little bit of everything. You should not be able to be the best at everything, but if you don't have a taste of everything, then you can't even have somebody on your team to support those little pieces or those little, arms and legs of whatever that it is, because you as an artist is a business at the end of the day. And I think sometimes artists aren't able to look at themselves objectively as the business and only look at themselves as the individual. But once you do get that team together and everything is working and the machine is clicking, then you realize that you are no longer just yourself, but you are this thing that can move and be here and be there. So step one, do everything yourself. Step two, realize when you need help. Step 3, go and get the help. Step 4, sign to United Masters or LVRN.
That was great, John.
We got, oh, right here up front. How you doing?
Hi, my name is Chantal. I'm an R&B artist. I do my distribution.
Can you stand up?
Oh, we in church. Get that, y'all. My name is Chantal. I'm an R&B artist, so I do my distribution for United Masters. And I have a question, because it's something that I struggle with. How does the talent find their niche to become popular? Because for me personally, I don't really like TikTok like that. And I know TikTok is a good, tool to use to just get your songs popular, but what's your advice to artists that are trying to find their niche to become popular? Like they have the talent, but they don't know how to become popular. Or, I know you mentioned Summer Walker. I love Summer Walker, and I feel like when it comes to artists, you know how artists sometimes feel like, oh, this person got on for me. I think it's just because people are actually listening to their music. So like, how does the artist find their niche to become popular?
What does popularity mean to you? What does that look like for you?
I guess getting known for your music, I guess getting the streams that you want, getting the fan base that you actually want, because honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little lost on that part.
Yeah, so do you not only like TikTok, do you use something else?
I use Instagram, and I just started using Twitter, but I've used more Instagram than anything.
Okay, I was making bread. I was a bread maker, and I wanted more people to buy my bread. I would not say I went to Walmart. You know what I'm saying? Because I would want my bread in that aisle from Walmart, because if that's a shop I'm looking for, and Walmart comes to me before Target, I put my bread in Walmart aisles because that's what I'm looking for. That's how people will see me. And then if Target finds me in Whole Foods and they go, you know what, we want to take you up out of Walmart. I sell your bread exclusively at Whole Foods. I'm fucking out of Walmart every year. I can go where the other people are. But you taking an opportunity for people to find you away from yourself because you're probably nervous about how big and wide this platform where millions of people can find you, how nerve-wracking that can be, you're taking food out of your mouth. And so my answer back to you is you already answered the question. A way to find popularity for people to find and love you for what you do, which is music, is for you to put it where people are looking for people like you, people that have a niche and that do music. And so my real advice to you is to not be afraid to put yourself out there, because you're aspiring to be like an artist who has to stand on stage with her niche in front of arenas full of people. When you're on TikTok, it's just you have one. And once you put it up there, I'm telling you that you have an opportunity for 1 million eyes to be on you. If your makeup looks gorgeous, so if your niche is doing makeup, but you also sing it in your makeup on live and let people love you. But you're taking yourself away from the opportunity to be who you want to be and for people to find you. And so I'll just say, as not a person who works at TikTok, download it and get over it, girl, and show people what you got. Okay?
Thank you.
How you guys doing? My name is Andre. I am a artist manager, and I help artist managers manage smarter. One of the questions I wanted to ask you all, for the artists, to help the artists in the room, how do you work with artists to help them define their own success?
That's a good question.
Ask a shitload of questions, first of all. I think that's why I started out with my question to her, because I couldn't answer her question until she told me what does popularity look like. There are artists that maybe only want to be able to fill up this room in a day. That might be somebody's dream, and so then that lets us know, okay, cool, if the capacity of this room is, I might be like 10,000, then what do we need to do to get this person to this level? If there's an artist that comes up to us and we say, what does success look like to you? And they say they want to fill up Madison Square Garden, then now we know what we need to do with that artist to get them to that level. And you're allowed to be whatever type of artist that you want to be. And you're allowed to grow. I think there was a time where Summer maybe would have preferred to just sing music in her bedroom, and I think she said that out loud. And then she got to a point where the world wanted to hear her music, but then that's also like Tunde said, where how do we help you? We'll go as far as to help get you therapy if you will receive it, to help you become the star that we know that you want to be. But we're all human beings. People have real life anxieties. People have real issues that they have to work through. We all do, even as managers and executives. And so I think you have to meet the artists where they're at and continue to ask questions throughout their career, because people grow every day. And so as long as you can answer the question, then we can help you answer the question about where your career is going to go and how we can help you. But that is a conversation.
Yeah, and even to add on that, I think it really comes down to vision and goals. If you're an artist and you don't have a vision, it will not work. You may get a single, you may go for a few months, you may have a hot moment, but fans don't buy into a moment. They buy into a vision, they buy into a brand. Your team, your label, everybody like that can't do anything for you if they're the ones coming up with everything. Because at one time or another, you won't be able to sell something that you did not come up with. Your team's job is to add value to what you have, not to come up with everything. I almost look at like the artist as the CEO, we are the board of directors. It's your decision, we may tell you that's not a good idea, but ultimately it's on you. And we can't do anything without you. So vision and goals, any artist, you have to figure out your vision, and usually that is what is holding up the majority of the artists, that they don't have a vision. Like you just say that you want to be hot or you want to be this. That's not a vision. I need to know who your fans are. What's your color? How do you talk to your fans? Who do you want to go on tour with? All this stuff matters, and these are things that we ask artists before we sign them. And if you can't answer these questions, you're not getting $1 out of me. If we're going to spend the next 2 years trying to figure this out, you're going to be frustrated. You're going to waste our time and money. So.
Things too. I feel like for artists and future executives out there and current executives, the importance of asking yourself some serious questions about what you want to do and where you want to go. So I think when you're on this journey, it's easy to just start spinning your wheel. Before we go to the next question, I would love to just ask you guys in what ways have you just started to ask yourself questions over since 2012 you guys have been doing this. How have you charted your goals and look at what does the future look like? What difficult questions have you had to ask yourselves about how you're moving and what you're thinking about the future?
Honestly, I think the reality is one thing we haven't talked about on the stage is the amount of us becoming students over the last 2 years than we've been the teachers. Us being way more vigilant about what is working, because there's a lot of shit that we're talking about now that doesn't even work anymore. There's a lot of things that we spent money on that got us platinum albums that would not work anymore. There's different ways of doing it, and it's so dope because I was actually talking to Rondo's cousin the other day, and he's a nerd about data, and I know nothing about data. I know about storytelling. I know about like what would make somebody react to this? Like, how do we fly a fucking balloon over the moon and have a logo on it, right? That's like the world that I come from. But his passion about data, which I consider nerdy, he's actually an artist inside of it, right? So his art is in understanding the matrix that I don't understand, and I think there's a beauty in being able to figure out the parts that you don't know, and then I think us as a label, it's okay to realize that you don't know a lot of things, and it's okay, but even more important, so it's better to go and fix those bridges, or at least be able to have an olive branch, or be able to say that, you know, we don't know this, can you teach us that? So I think even right now, we're in the process of learning things that we didn't know, we're in the process of relearning things, we're in the process of still being great at the things that we're good at. And you know, even to the thing about having our partnership with Audio Map, we were never big on like what they call research. Like, you know, like we were the guys that like were on YouTube for hours trying to find somebody that like spoke to us, or like in the middle of like that speakeasy and somebody singing a crazy song and we approach them. But no, there's an easier way of being able to have that same thing. And I think a lot of times we feel like technology is dampening the creative process or what our heart and soul feels. But nah, there's a way to kind of balance it. Even with AI, like there's a way to balance the things that are able to make your life easier with the things that still kind of speak true to you. I don't really remember the initial question, but I think I answered it.
You answered that and some more things. That was perfect, bro. Perfect, John. Let's go to my brother right here. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, sis.
Sorry, y'all. I got the mic.
That's perfect.
Hi, y'all. I'm Smooth. I do creative strategy and project management. I became familiar with LVRN last year. I helped curate Westside Boogie's listening party out here. So salutations to y'all and y'all team. Y'all been working for a really long time. I know Justice is not here, but salute to Justice because he definitely handles his business. You know, we're winners here. We all work really hard. We're entrepreneurs. We're creatives. We're so focused on the next thing and the pile of things that we have on our desk. So I'd like to just take a time to ask you guys, the execs and the movers and the shakers, like, what are your top 3 moments of this year? What are your favorite accomplishments or projects or anything that you guys have done this year? Because we need a moment of reflection and to pat ourselves on the back. And the year's almost over, so we have more than enough on our plate. So I definitely want to just ask a reflecting moment for sure. Thank you for your time as well.
Amber taught us that if we speed a song up and then speed all the songs up, that the kids will love it and you'll make like a couple extra $1 million. So thank you, Amber, for letting us know that speeding music up and putting it on TikTok and listening to the fans will help you bottom line.
Also, you know, we've been working hard for about 8 to 10 years, and recently we were able to fully become independent. We got a pretty large investment, so now we're able to operate by ourselves. We were able to take some money off the table, and you know, as an entrepreneur, it feels good. You know, people tell you when you build something, keep it. That's fine, but it's okay to sell. It's okay to take some off the table because we work hard. You know, it's okay to retain you being an independent artist, especially now with artists being able to own their stuff. Now people think that executives have a feeling about artists owning their stuff. I think it's amazing because now everybody has the option to do what they want. You can go sign to a major and sell your masters. You can be independent. You can do whatever you want. I think the issues come now is that when people don't read the information when it's right in front of you and you use it. Everything you want and need isn't right in front of you. So I say that to say once again, like, we built something, and I'll be honest, like, we have dreams and like aspirations for what we're doing now. I couldn't have all this last year. So that's my reflecting point, and I have to pat myself in the back and my partners for what we built, and it's amazing. I want to say, like, you all can go out there and build what we've done and do it bigger and better, and I want y'all to, because we were able to do it bigger and better than people before us, and that's what it's supposed to be.
Real quick, I'm also proud of some of the not lower level, but just the things that happen that are not super unexpected, like selling out shows, you know, and all of you guys being in the building today, you know, moments like that. We had Summer Walker put out the Clear 2 project earlier this year. She had an amazing show in Atlanta that really changed the narrative for her as a performer that we were really proud of. We got sold out tour from Black that'll actually be in town next week, and we're super proud of. So moments like that are wins too that we really, you know, we don't take for granted either, because, you know, it's really important to be able to, you know, have people, real people, actually bringing them into a building like this is an incredible thing every time.
Also, I would say, to reflect a moment, and shouts out to United Masters. They have the whole squad in the building. They have us speaking, Davido, one of ours, speaking, spinning tonight. So that's a perfect moment to have ourselves and our artists a part of this whole thing as we go.
I'm going to do nobody like I did Smooth, so I'm going to just, whoever got the mic, please stand up and go ahead and ask your question. I don't want no smoke.
Hi, my name is Xavier, professionally known as Xavier. I'm an audio engineer and artist manager from Worcester, Massachusetts. And I just wanted to know what kind of...
Oh, okay, for me. All right.
Move up.
I'm like, Jesus.
Alright, so I'm Xavier, professionally known as Xavier. I'm an audio engineer and artist manager. And I just wanted to know what kind of routine do you put your artists in to get them the results they want? Because I know consistency is definitely the #1 key, but aside from that, like, what is like the day in a life for one of your artists that you work with?
And this will be the last one, by the way.
I think it varies a lot because to some of the points raised earlier, you know, we're all about identifying what's important to that artist and highlighting and amplifying that. So different things are important to different artists, but you know, some of the things that are consistent across the board are, you know, what our strategy is on social media and on different digital services. We're really, really big on artist development in terms of their live show, their presence, and you know, on stage, in the studio, what's the development look like? How are we getting you to become a better, more talented, more confident, capable artist? So, you know, that also is different for different artists. For some, it's vocal training and performance coaching. For others, it's choreography. For others, it's getting with social media strategy companies or people that we really trust. So it really varies, but we're very intentional about what we're trying to do with each artist and creating a program for them.
Awesome, thank you.
I just want to say one more thing was, like, I'm going to say it very blatantly, like, this stuff is hard. Creating content, keeping up on all the platforms, staying up, it is hard. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be easy to be the biggest artist in the world. It's not supposed to be easy to be able to make millions of dollars and take care of your family and do whatnot. So when you're up at night being like, why is this so hard? It's what it's supposed to be. And if you really want to do this, you will lean in and figure it out. So once again, it's not supposed to be easy. It is not easy. We literally scratch our heads every day trying to figure it out, and we are at this level. So I want to be real with y'all and not tell y'all a dream to make it seem like we all know what we're doing. If we did, we'll be billionaires, but we're not there yet. That's the goal, of course. But you have to keep working, you have to stay present, and you have to stay attentive to what's going on. Every 3 months, it changes. So what you were doing 3 months ago probably won't work now. If you hate TikTok, probably shouldn't be an artist. I hate to say it, but it's said to say, like, when we were in high school and if you were on MySpace, you didn't say you hated MySpace. When it was Facebook, you didn't say you hated Facebook. Instagram came. TikTok is where people are. There's going to be a new platform one day soon where everybody's there. So I'm more so saying, like, lean into where people are so you can go get your audience. It's about where people are. It's less about the platform and more about where people are actually consuming it.
I think Carlo underscored this perfectly. Round of applause for that as well. And our time is far spent. But I think that there's another key way to underscore this conversation. I think it's playing perfectly where Summer didn't want to be on camera, but you guys found a way to put something center stage that still shine a light on her. So think about that. Again, my name is Dometi Pongo. It's been an honor to have this conversation with y'all. Thank you very much. And man, you can check me out on MTV. I hosted the pre-show for the VMAs. The guy in the green shoe looking at my sister, that was me. So please continue to support, because even as we make strides in this industry, even as a journalist, I'm taking these gems as well. So thank you for this opportunity, guys.
Thank you, bro.